Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we review the SBGR053. Absolutely love this Grand Seiko. Very glad I picked it up. And I'm excited to share with you my thoughts and opinions on the model. This is a 37mm diameter case. And just check out that Suratsu polishing and the deep grain brushing, the fluid lines and the arced lugs. This is a very sharp, very dynamic watch, and it looks awesome on my 7.25-inch wrists. I think that the smaller traditional size proportionally just looks perfect, and I'm very happy with the way it wears. Very happy with the level of execution of that finish work and just how fluid and dynamic those lines are. Really impressed with that. If you look at the dial, it's a very flat black, void of all color and texture. It almost looks like it has a gloss finish here on the video, but that's just reflection coming off of that domed sapphire crystal. It's really just void of all color, and I think makes the perfect backdrop for those faceted indices and those large Dauphine style hands. I love the sharp contrast with the black and then that silver tone. Really great. That's why I chose this model over, say, one of their nice sunburst silver dials or champagne dials. I just liked the way this pops. If we come up close in a macro level, you'll see those hands. They're beveled with a high polish on the outside and a deep vertical grain brushing on the inside. Very large, very long hands. It's an impressive handset for sure, and it matches those indices very well. You've got angular faceted indices with very faint linear striations on the top of each one of those markers, so they do catch the light a lot better than just a flat surface would. Really impressed with that little detail. So if you notice the chapter ring, it's completely polished and you get really good reflection of the hash marks for each minute, and then also some of those applied faceted indices. It ends up just kind of looking like liquid metal to me, and I really love that aesthetic. It looks real sharp under this, domed sapphire crystal, and Seiko does use anti-reflective coating, and they use just enough to get, a good clear view of the dynamic dial, hands and indices, but also leaving some reflections too, so it does play well with that brilliantly polished case, and then this 5-link bracelet, which is very nice. The finishing does match the quality of the case and the other parts of the watch, and it's very comfortable on the wrist. So you'll notice it does have a little bit of flex and give to it, and that's just the nature of a Japanese bracelet. Now I have a nice Swiss diver here, this Omega Seamaster 300, that I thought would be great to show side by side. You can see very comparable finish work. Just really beautiful watches, both of them, but I specifically wanted to show you the bracelet differences. So this Omega here has very little flex and give. It's a very rigid bracelet, very comfortable, drapes on the wrist nicely, but that's kind of the way the Swiss do luxury bracelets. Very rigid, very comfortable. And let's contrast that with the Seiko. Again, the finish work is just excellent, but you'll see there's much more flex and give to this Japanese bracelet. And that's not wrong, that's just the way they do things. It's a little bit different than the Swiss. And you just need to be aware of that going into it if you've never experienced a Seiko or a Grand Seiko bracelet. This is your clasp. You've got a nice raised logo on the satin finish portion here. Push button release, milled clasp here. Very nice. And this is my favorite part about the watch. This gorgeous movement that you can see through this sapphire display case back. And another detail that's interesting, if you look at the center of that crystal, you can barely make out a light etching of the Grand Seiko logo in the center of that crystal. Really cool detail, and I hope you can pick it up here in the video. It's hard to see with the naked eye. So this is the 9S65 movement. It's a completely in-house, very impressive automatic movement from Grand Seiko. It's got 35 jewels. It's got a proprietary Sprawn hairspring and mainspring. This utilizes Seiko's MEMS technology in production of some of those small components like the balance wheel and the pallet fork. So it's really got some good tech. It has a 72-hour power reserve, and it goes through some very impressive testing. So you'll notice it's written right there on the main plate adjusted to 6 positions and temperature. So they do one more position and temperature than what the COSC does. And what's interesting is with each Grand Seiko, or at least with each automatic one, they give you this certificate which shows your movement, your serial number for the movement. It's printed on a very nice paper, and on the back it shows the testing and the different deviation for what they go through. You can see it went through 17 days of inspection. These were the different temperatures that it was tested in and the different positions and the deviation rates. So I think that's cool. It's a neat little extra thing that comes with your watch that I appreciate. I'll show you the winding action. It's got very smooth winding action. It doesn't feel grainy, or there's not a whole lot of resistance. It's just very smooth, very luxurious feeling. It's a push-pull crown. One position, quick set date, and then your second position will hack the movement. Very nice action, very good positions. So cons about the watch, there's not a whole lot, and I'm a little biased, but this is tall. This is 13 millimeters in height, which is dive watch height. It's tall for a dress watch. Now I was a little apprehensive because I knew it was a tall watch going into it, and I will tell you, after a month of using this watch, I haven't noticed the height. It's been great on the wrist, very fluid. It kind of disappears, and I haven't knocked it against any door frames or countertops. But I will admit it's a very tall watch, and I would like it to be thinner. Resale value, that's the constant knock against Grand Seiko, and I will say it's valid. I would recommend buying pre-owned if you're unsure about a model, and only buy new and at a good price if you're sure that you want to keep it, because you will lose money if you go to flip a Grand Seiko that you purchased new. And it's substantial. I know watches do depreciate for the most part, and Grand Seiko is not immune to that. So the height, the depreciation factor, they don't really affect me personally. I plan on keeping this watch, and again, I don't notice the height. But the thing that does affect me day to day that I would consider negative is, since this is so brilliantly finished to such a high degree, you see smudges, you see fingerprints. And so I find myself taking out a microfiber cloth and cleaning it frequently, because I just want to see the pristine nature of just the beautifully finished steel and that dynamic dial and that absolutely beautiful case back and movement. So yeah, you will attract smudges, and they will become apparent because of the nature of how well this is finished. And I haven't scratched it yet. I think I've got some very light hair line marks, I think somewhere on the bracelet. It's hard to find, but I've kept the watch head in perfect condition, and I know if I scratch that bezel or the Soratsu polishing on the side, that is just going to hurt my soul a little bit to see such a thing of beauty marred in a small degree. So I kind of got to baby it. It's consciously on my mind, and I would consider that a negative point. And then another thing to be aware of, servicing costs on a Grand Seiko is not cheap. It's very comparable to Swiss luxury, say like an Omega or Breitling or Rolex. And they recommend you do it every 3 years. So just be prepared, if you buy a Grand Seiko, to invest the time and the money to have this properly serviced by one of Seiko's master craftsmen. So just to wrap up, for me, this is my personal ultimate Grand Seiko. I love the size. I love the color combination. I think it's timeless. I think it's executed perfectly. I love the movement. I love the execution. It's the quintessential Seiko dress design that they've just perfected. I couldn't be happier with this purchase. Very, very impressed. Grand Seiko, I think, is a very interesting proposition. Some, after watching this video of this watch, will think, how in the world did you spend $2,700 on a Seiko? I mean, that's absurd, even with the finishing and the movement and how great it looks. I mean, that's kind of crazy to spend so much money on, quote, just a Seiko. And then some, including myself, look at the whole package, everything that comes with it. The beauty, the timeless form, the vertical integration, the execution of the movement, and you're just blown away, and you think, wow, I can't get a better watch for for $2,700, considering the finishing and the accuracy and just how satisfying and easy it is to wear this on a daily basis. I kind of fall into that camp. I'm very impressed. I do think this is worth the money. But I definitely understand those other watch fans and people that just can't get behind Grand Seiko. Hey, it's not for everybody, and that's totally fine. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will try and get a Rolex in here to show side by side. I think that would be a fun comparison. I will try and get a SARB 33 in here so you can see, a budget Seiko versus the Grand Seiko. I think that would be a great video as well. And stay tuned for other content on Grand Seiko. I have a lot to say. I didn't want to make this a 20-minute video. So thanks for watching. If you stuck through to the end, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. Cheers.